Talk to yourself every day for 21 days, and your entire mindset will never be the same again. That's how it works. You see, how you talk to yourself is either building you or breaking you. There's no in between. Most people don't realize it, but they've been feeding themselves weak language for years. Quiet words like, I'm not ready, I can't do it, maybe later. And if you say those things long enough, your life starts to match that story. But if you change the way you talk to yourself and you stay consistent for 21 days, something powerful happens. Your focus sharpens, your energy increases, your attitude improves. You stop second guessing and start moving. You stop doubting and start doing. It's not magic, it's discipline. And it starts with your words. In this video, I'll show you exactly what to say and how to say it. No hype, no fluff, just clear, direct self-talk that builds self-respect. Stick with this for 21 days, and you won't just feel better, you'll become stronger. Ready? Let's start with day one. Number one, say it straight, I deserve better from myself. That one sentence can change your entire life if you mean it. Most people never say it. They'll point the finger, they'll make excuses, they'll blame the world, their past, their parents, their environment. But they won't say the one thing that really starts the process of change. I deserve better from myself. This is about holding yourself to a higher standard, not because someone else told you to, not because the world expects it from you, but because deep down, you know you're capable of more than what you're currently doing. That's the truth. That's where self-respect begins. You don't change your life by saying things you don't believe. You change it by being honest. And the honest truth is, if you're not proud of your habits, your effort, your focus, your discipline, your mindset, your words, then it's time to look yourself in the mirror and say, I deserve better from myself. No one else is coming to upgrade your standards. No one's going to walk into your life and force you to be stronger, smarter, more focused, more determined. That's your job. That's on you. And for 21 days, that has to be the voice in your head every single morning. When you wake up tired and tempted to scroll instead of start your day, that's the moment you say it, I deserve better from myself. When you catch yourself procrastinating again, when you know you have things to do but you're putting them off, say it again. Not to beat yourself down, not to punish yourself, but to pull yourself up. Because self-respect is not about talking nice to yourself. It's about talking honestly. It's about saying what needs to be said so you stop lying to yourself. It's about waking up and facing the fact that your life isn't going to improve by accident. It'll improve the moment you raise your own expectations and then live up to them. Now, this isn't about perfection. Nobody gets it right every day. That's not the goal. The goal is to stop accepting a version of yourself that you know is playing small. That version that settles for just getting by. That version that breaks promises to yourself. That version that looks away when the truth gets uncomfortable. That's the version you've got to outgrow. And how do you outgrow it? You start by saying it out loud. You start by drawing the line. I deserve better from myself. That means better effort, better attitude, better follow through. It means being the kind of person who follows through on what they said they'd do. Not to impress anyone else, but to sleep at night with peace in your heart. Do you know what it feels like to go to bed knowing you gave it your all? No guilt, no shame, no mental battle. Just a quiet kind of power inside. That's what we're chasing. And that starts by not lying to yourself anymore. No more saying, I'll do it tomorrow. No more, I don't feel like it. No more, I can't. From today, you talk to yourself with truth, with strength, with courage. Say it again, I deserve better from myself. Say it when you're about to break your diet. Say it when you're tempted to scroll for hours. Say it when you want to give up early. Say it when you're about to settle for average. Say it when you hear that voice in your head saying, it's okay, no one will know. You'll know. And that's enough. This is not about being hard on yourself. This is about being real with yourself. Because no one ever builds a great life by avoiding the hard conversations. And the hardest one is the one you have with yourself when nobody's watching. For 21 days, that voice in your head, the one that tells you to quit, to relax, to delay, to make excuses, it has to be challenged. Not with lies, not with sweet talk, but with a strong, clear, real truth. I deserve better from myself. Say it when you wake up. Say it in the mirror. Say it before you start your work. Say it when you're tempted to do the easy thing instead of the right thing. Because that voice becomes your standard. That voice becomes your compass. And if you repeat it long enough, you won't just say it. You'll start living it. You'll start making decisions that align with your future, not your comfort. You'll start treating your time like it matters. You'll stop saying yes to things that waste your potential. You'll feel uncomfortable when you break your own standards, and that discomfort will make you sharper, not weaker. But none of that happens if you don't start here, with one hard sentence said honestly, I deserve better from myself. This isn't magic. It's not motivation that fades in an hour. This is discipline. This is personal responsibility. And this is how people transform. They stop accepting their old story. They stop making peace with their bad habits. They stop allowing weakness to lead the day. So, if you're serious, start today. Say it out loud. Say it every day. Say it with emotion. Don't just repeat the words. Feel the meaning. This is you demanding more from yourself. This is you stepping into a higher level. This is you deciding you are not going to settle anymore. Every day for 21 days, remind yourself, you are not made for average. You are not built to live on autopilot. You were not created to live in regret. You were meant to grow, to build, to lead, to win, and that starts with the way you talk to yourself. So, say it again. I deserve better from myself, and mean it. Now, go prove it. Number 2, say you're not weak, you're just getting stronger. That might sound simple, but those words can shift your mindset in ways you didn't think possible. Because most people walk around believing that struggling means something is wrong with them. They think if they're tired, frustrated, overwhelmed, or unsure, then they're failing. But that's not true. Struggle doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're trying. It means you're stretching yourself. It means you're on your way to something better. When you push yourself through something hard, it's easy to feel like quitting. Your body might feel heavy. Your mind might resist. You might look around and wonder why it seems easier for everyone else. But the truth is, nobody builds strength from comfort. You get stronger when you keep going, even when it would be easier to stop. Every time you move forward while it's hard, you are growing something inside of you that didn't exist before. It's invisible to others, but you can feel it. And over time, it changes everything. But you've got to start by talking to yourself the right way. Because if you keep telling yourself you're weak, if you keep focusing on how tired you are, how far behind you feel, how overwhelmed you are, you'll stop before you even begin. You'll give yourself permission to settle. And when you do that, you lower your own standard. Instead, you need to say it every day. I'm not weak. I'm getting stronger. Say it when you feel like you've failed. Say it when the pressure builds up. Say it when your progress feels slow. Because strength is not something you wait for. It's something you earn, one hard step at a time. It doesn't show up all at once. It builds gradually. It starts in your thinking, in the way you respond to difficulty, in the way you carry yourself after a setback. There will be days when your energy is low. That's okay. There will be moments when you feel discouraged. That's part of the process. What matters is what you say to yourself in those moments. You either lift yourself or you bury yourself with your words. Your self-talk can be a weapon or a weight, and you choose which one it becomes. You have to stop identifying with your weakness and start identifying with your progress. Nobody is born with confidence, grit, or focus. These are all things you build. And you build them by refusing to stop when it gets hard. You grow them by showing up even when your motivation is gone. You prove to yourself that you're serious when you take action despite feeling uncertain. That's what strength looks like. You might not see the changes right away. That's normal. Just because you're not where you want to be yet doesn't mean you're not moving. Growth takes time. Strength takes repetition. You don't need to feel strong to be getting stronger. You just need to keep going. You just need to talk to yourself like someone who still believes it's possible. Because it is. When you tell yourself, I'm getting stronger, you change how you look at pain. You stop fearing discomfort. You stop running from effort. You start to embrace the process. You start to understand that the hard moments are the ones that matter most. Those are the moments that test your mindset. And if your mindset is built on truth, not excuses, you'll find your way through. You are not weak just because you don't feel strong yet. You are not broken just because it's hard right now. You are in the middle of becoming someone better. And becoming better is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's uncertain. But it's also meaningful, and it's worth it. You don't get stronger by waiting until everything feels easy. You get stronger by deciding you're not giving up just because it's hard. And the voice inside your head matters more than anything else because you hear it more than you hear anyone else. So if you keep calling yourself lazy, broken, or unmotivated, your actions will follow that identity. You'll start behaving like the version of yourself you say you are, but if you change the script, if you remind yourself daily that you're becoming stronger, your actions will begin to reflect that too. Strength doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it looks like getting back up. Sometimes it looks like choosing discipline instead of distraction. Sometimes it's waking up and showing up again, even though you feel like nothing is changing. That's not weakness, that's growth. And it's only the beginning. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to not have all the answers. You're allowed to feel frustrated. What you're not allowed to do is lie to yourself. Don't tell yourself you're weak when you've made it through things that would break most people. Don't talk down to yourself when you're still standing after all the setbacks you've faced. There's strength in that, real strength. Not the kind that shows up on a screen or looks good in photos, but the kind that makes you steady when everything feels uncertain. Say it clearly and with conviction. I'm not weak, I'm getting stronger. I'm not done, I'm not stuck. I'm not useless, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm becoming someone I can trust, someone I can count on, someone who shows up even when it's tough. And I'm not doing it to impress anyone else. I'm doing it for me because I owe it to myself to see how far I can go. So if the results haven't come yet, don't panic. Keep showing up. Keep speaking to yourself like someone worth fighting for. Strength comes in layers. It doesn't show up all at once, but when it does, when you finally feel the difference inside of you, you'll realize that everything you went through, everything you told yourself, every moment you kept going when it was hard, it built something permanent in you. And that's what matters most. That you didn't give up, that you didn't let the struggle define you, that you didn't buy into the lie that you were weak. You spoke differently, you thought differently, you acted differently, and now you are becoming someone different. Keep going. You're not weak. You're just getting stronger. Number 3, affirm out loud, I am doing my best today. Say it when the day starts. Say it when your mind is busy. Say it when you begin to feel unsure. Most people spend so much time criticizing themselves for what they haven't done, what they should have done, or what they failed to do yesterday. But today is new. Today gives you a fresh chance. And your job is to give it the best you've got, not chase perfection or live in regret. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. But you owe it to yourself to stop tearing yourself down and start backing yourself up with the right words. When you say you're doing your best, you're not avoiding responsibility. You're owning the effort. You're recognizing that today, in this moment, you are showing up with what you have. Maybe it's not everything. Maybe you're tired. Maybe your energy is low. Maybe life feels heavier than usual. But if you're still showing up, still trying, still thinking, still pushing, that matters. You don't grow by being hard on yourself. You grow by being real. And what's real is this: you can't give more than your best, and your best changes from day to day. Some days your best is running at full speed. Other days it's just not quitting. But both count, both matter, and both deserve to be respected. Say it out loud. I am doing my best today. Not silently in your head, not half-heartedly under your breath. Say it with belief. Because when you speak it, you hear it. And when you hear it, you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You stop shaming yourself for what you're not. You start showing up fully as you are. Self-respect begins with truth. And the truth is, most people do more damage to themselves with their own words than anyone else ever could. They keep saying they're lazy. They keep calling themselves failures. They keep feeding their minds criticism instead of clarity. But that doesn't help. That doesn't push you forward. That only leaves you stuck in a loop of guilt and pressure. Saying, I'm doing my best today, interrupts that cycle. It gives you a pause. It gives you perspective. It reminds you that effort is valuable even when it's not perfect, even when you fall short, even when the outcome isn't clear. Your best effort is not about winning or getting it all done. It's about showing up with the intention to grow, to improve, to keep moving forward. And here's what's important. This isn't about lowering the bar. This is about raising your awareness. Because if you say you're doing your best and you're lying to yourself, you'll feel it. That discomfort will wake you up. It will make you question your habits. And that's a good thing, because it gives you the opportunity to step up, not to punish yourself, but to get more honest. When you say the words, I am doing my best today, and you mean them, it feels different. It doesn't feel like a fake pep talk. It feels like a quiet strength. It reminds you that showing up matters, that doing one thing right matters, that giving energy to what you care about, even if it's a small effort, moves you in the right direction. You don't need to have it all together. You don't need to be faster than others. You don't need to get it perfect. What you need is consistency. What you need is a voice inside that supports you, especially when you're unsure. And that voice starts with a simple, solid affirmation. I am doing my best today. When you begin to speak like that, you'll notice your focus starts to shift. You'll stop worrying so much about how far you have to go. You'll start noticing what's in your control. You'll spend less time mentally punishing yourself and more time taking action. That's the difference between pressure and progress. One keeps you stuck. The other pulls you forward. If you make this your habit, if for 21 days straight, you say out loud every morning, I am doing my best today, something inside of you will begin to change. You'll start to feel less guilt when things aren't perfect. You'll find it easier to stay focused. You'll learn to forgive yourself faster and move on with strength instead of regret. You may not control every outcome, but you control the effort. You control how you talk to yourself. You control your energy. And when you make that small daily commitment to speak with truth and intention, your days begin to look different. Not because life gets easier, but because your mindset gets sharper. You begin to pay attention to the things that matter. You put your time into work that aligns with your goals. You stop wasting hours trying to feel perfect and start using minutes to move forward. That's what happens when your self-talk supports your progress instead of tearing it down. Remember, you're not supposed to feel strong all the time. You're not supposed to have endless energy. That's not what makes people successful. What makes people successful is what they do when they don't feel their best, what they say to themselves when things aren't smooth, what actions they take even when motivation is low. And it starts with a choice, a simple decision to speak better to yourself. So if your mind starts drifting into doubt today, pull it back, say it again firmly. I am doing my best today. That's enough for now. That's the truth. And that's what gives you power over your day, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one honest sentence at a time. Start now, start here, say it again. I am doing my best today, and mean it. Number 4, force your brain to stop playing the victim. That one command can change the direction of your entire life. The longer you let your mind believe that life is happening to you, the longer you stay stuck. Stuck in blame, stuck in excuses, stuck in cycles that repeat over and over. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. They speak like victims, they think like victims, and they expect things to stay the same. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But the truth is, the minute you decide to take control, everything starts to shift. Your brain listens to what you repeat. If every day you wake up and tell yourself, life is unfair, people are against me, I can't catch a break, your brain believes you. And once your brain believes it, it starts looking for evidence to support it. That's how you end up stuck. Not because life is impossible, but because your thinking makes it feel impossible. You see everything through the lens of limitation. That's the trap. You weren't born to stay in that mindset, and you don't have to stay there, but you have to fight for it. You have to interrupt the voice that tells you you're helpless. You have to challenge the thoughts that say you're stuck, because those thoughts are not facts, they're habits. And like any habit, they can be broken, but not by waiting, not by hoping. You break them by forcing your brain to take a different path. Start by watching your words. How many times a day do you say things like, I can't, I never, it's always like this? That's victim language, and that language keeps you in the same pattern. You need to speak differently if you want to think differently. You need to say things that give you back your power. Things like, I'll figure this out, I'm not done yet. This doesn't control me. Say it before you believe it. Say it until your mind catches up. Responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means you're not waiting for someone else to save you. It means you're not giving your power away. You're not pointing fingers. You're not building a case for why you're stuck. You're facing reality and deciding to do something about it. That's how strong minds are built. A victim mindset is comfortable. That's why people stay there. It gives you permission to do nothing. It gives you an excuse to lower your effort. It keeps you from trying again. But comfort comes at a cost. You give up progress for the illusion of safety. You give up control in exchange for sympathy. And that trade never leads to growth. If you want real strength, you have to break the habit of blaming everything outside of yourself. Yes, people will let you down. Yes, life will throw challenges at you. But you still get to choose your response. You still get to choose your attitude. You still get to show up with discipline, with courage, with clarity. That's your job. And no one can take it from you unless you give it away. Every time your brain starts to slip into self-pity, you have to stop it. Don't let the thought finish. Interrupt it. Replace it. Tell yourself, that's not the truth. The truth is you've been through things that made you stronger. The truth is you've survived things that tried to break you. The truth is you have more control than you think, but only if you take it. Force your brain to look forward instead of backward. Stop replaying what went wrong. Stop holding on to how unfair it was. You're not that person anymore. You don't live in that story anymore. You're building something better, and you can't build anything new if your mind is still locked in the past. Don't confuse hardship with hopelessness. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's over. Just because you're tired doesn't mean you're weak. And just because you've struggled doesn't mean you're broken. Those are just stories your mind created to protect you from effort. But you don't need protection from growth. You need permission to chase it, and you're the only one who can give it. Every successful person you look up to had to unlearn the victim mindset. They had to stop making excuses. They had to stop explaining their limitations. They had to stop expecting things to get better on their own. And they didn't just wake up with that mindset. They built it. They trained it. They spoke it every single day until it became natural. You can do the same. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need more time. You don't need everyone to support you. You just need to take your thoughts seriously. You need to stop letting your mind drag you into weakness. You need to set a new standard for how you talk to yourself and what you tolerate from your own thinking. Start with one sentence. I'm not a victim. Say it when things go wrong. Say it when you feel overlooked. Say it when your plans fall apart. Say it when you feel behind. Say it when everything in you wants to shut down. That's when it matters most. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing how you show up, choosing to focus on what's in your control, choosing to respond with strength instead of complaint, choosing to be the kind of person who keeps going even when it's not easy. Your mind can be your greatest enemy or your strongest ally, but it won't switch sides until you train it, until you decide that enough is enough, until you take back your control, not with noise, but with clear intention. Don't accept the thoughts that keep you small. Don't agree with the ideas that keep you passive. Don't give space to beliefs that limit your potential. When you catch yourself falling into that pattern, don't delay. Stop the thought. Replace it. Speak truth to yourself with clarity and force. Your strength is not built in comfort. It's built in the moments when you choose to lead your own mind. When you stop waiting for the world to change and start becoming the one who changes. That's how you become free from the victim story. That's how you grow into someone you can respect. So from this day forward, whenever your brain starts to pull you back into weakness, stop it cold. Say no. Say enough. Say I'm not playing that role anymore. Say I'm responsible. Say I'm in charge now. Say I have the power to think differently, to act differently, to live differently, and then prove it. Number 5. Convince yourself that comfort is not your friend. If you don't, you'll spend your whole life chasing feelings instead of results. You'll protect your emotions instead of developing your potential. You'll settle for routines that feel safe while quietly knowing you're capable of much more. The truth is, comfort makes promises it doesn't keep. It tells you you're okay the way you are. It tells you you've earned a break. It tells you there's no need to push harder. But while it whispers sweet things in your ear, it steals your progress one quiet day at a time. You don't grow in comfort, you maintain, you float, you repeat, you stay stuck. Every great change begins when a person looks around and says, I want more than this. But you can't want more and still cling to comfort, because getting more requires change. It requires sacrifice. It requires pushing past the easy path. And comfort will fight you every step of the way, because comfort only exists to keep things the same. Start noticing where comfort controls your life. It's in the excuses you make for why you didn't start. It's in the way you delay difficult tasks. It's in your patterns. The way you automatically avoid what's uncomfortable and justify it as rest. But most of the time, it's not rest, it's avoidance. And the longer you avoid challenge, the harder it becomes to face it. Comfort isn't just about sitting on the couch, it's also in the mental patterns that protect your ego. It's when you tell yourself you're not ready. It's when you avoid feedback. It's when you only do what you're already good at. That's when you know comfort is leading your life. And the worst part is, it feels good in the moment. It feels relaxing. It feels deserved, but afterward, you're left with the same life, the same problems, the same sense that something is missing. If you want real change, you have to turn on yourself in the best way. You have to challenge your own habits. You have to stop seeking the easiest way forward and start seeking the most honest one. That usually means more work, more discipline, more silence, more rejection, more uncomfortable truths. But that's where you'll find your strength. That's where the change happens. Your brain will try to protect you. It's built for survival, not growth. It wants to keep you safe, not successful. So when you try to stretch, when you try to level up, it sounds the alarm. It tells you to slow down. It reminds you how good it feels to relax. And if you listen, you'll always go back to what's familiar. You'll always return to the place where nothing grows. There is no version of greatness that comes from avoiding discomfort. The people you admire didn't get there by choosing the easiest route. They did what was hard over and over when it was thankless, when it was tiring, when it didn't feel worth it, and they did it anyway. That's the mindset you need to adopt, not for one day, but for life. Because life doesn't reward your comfort. It rewards your effort. It rewards your standards. It rewards your decisions. Comfort tells you have time. It lies to you about urgency. But the truth is, time doesn't wait. Every day you spend choosing ease over effort is a day you're building the wrong habits. The longer you stay comfortable, the harder it becomes to break free. And then you start believing the story that this is just who you are, when in reality, it's just who you've practiced being. You need to get serious with yourself. Ask hard questions. Am I growing, or am I just coasting? Am I choosing what's best for me, or what feels good now? Am I challenging my limits, or protecting my comfort zone? Be honest, because honesty leads to action. And action is what separates people who talk about change from those who actually make it happen. There's a voice inside of you that wants more. That voice isn't always loud. It's often buried under distractions and comfort, but it's there. It shows up when you feel disappointed in yourself. It shows up when you see someone else succeed and you know deep down you could have done the same. That voice is asking you to move, to grow, to change, to push. And every time you ignore it, you shrink a little. The goal isn't to suffer, it's to stretch. It's to put yourself in situations that require you to think differently, act differently, and become stronger. That means choosing the hard way on purpose. That means saying no to comfort even when it's tempting. That means committing to discomfort not as punishment, but as preparation. You do it because you respect your potential more than your pleasure. Start with small things. Wake up earlier than you want to. Finish what you started. Say no to mindless entertainment. Speak up when it's easier to stay silent. Push your limits in the gym. Read when your mind wants to scroll. Show up when no one claps for you. These choices, repeated, change your identity. They build a new mental pattern, one that no longer sees comfort as the goal, but as the enemy of progress. When you make those choices long enough, discomfort becomes familiar. It doesn't scare you anymore. You begin to crave it. You look for challenge. You respect what it brings out of you. That's when you become unshakable, because you no longer need easy. You've built something deeper than comfort. You've built character. This is not for everyone. Some people will always choose the easy way. But if you're reading this and something inside of you is saying, I want to be better, then you're already different. You already feel the pull. Now you need the discipline to follow it. That starts with one mindset shift, convincing yourself that comfort is not your friend. The truth is, comfort will slow you down. It will lower your standards. It will make you settle. And you were not born to settle. You were born to grow, to rise, to challenge yourself. But that only happens when you stop protecting your comfort and start protecting your mission. Every time you feel that temptation to take it easy, stop and remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself who you want to become. Remind yourself that comfort is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Then choose the hard thing anyway. Not because you want to suffer, but because you want to rise. And the more you do this, the more you realize your life starts the moment you stop chasing comfort. That's where your real power begins. Number 6, talk like someone who is done wasting time. That's a decision you make, not a mood you wait for. The way you speak reflects what you truly believe. If your words are full of hesitation, doubt, excuses, and distraction, then your actions will follow that pattern. But when you speak with clarity, with urgency, with purpose, you send a signal to yourself and everyone around you. You are no longer available for wasted days, empty habits, or pointless distractions. That shift begins with how you speak to yourself. Most people waste time because they speak in circles. They say, maybe later, I'll try, I'll start soon. These phrases feel harmless, but they are dangerous. They delay progress. They weaken discipline. They create space for avoidance. If you want to be serious about your future, you have to remove those soft words and start talking like someone who's done watching life pass by. You don't need to shout. You don't need to perform for others. But you do need to be honest. Speak to yourself like someone who's tired of waiting. Say things like, it starts now. Say, no more waiting for the perfect moment. Say, I've wasted enough time on things that don't build me. These are not just words. They are instructions to your brain. They remind you who's in charge. Time doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're distracted. It doesn't care if your emotions are all over the place. It keeps moving. The day is going to pass whether you use it well or not. That's why the way you speak about your time matters so much. Because if your words aren't serious, your actions won't be either. If you want to change your life, change your vocabulary. Eliminate words that let you off the hook. Stop saying someday. Stop saying I'm too busy. Stop saying I can't help it. These phrases protect your comfort, not your progress. Start saying I'm focused. Say this is my responsibility. Say I will get this done today. When your words carry weight, your time begins to matter again. Speaking like someone who values time also means not entertaining useless conversations. Don't explain yourself to people who don't understand your goals. Don't argue over things that don't matter. Don't gossip. Don't complain. Speak about ideas. Speak about improvement. Speak about execution. Because that's what serious people do. They invest their energy in building, not breaking. You can tell a lot about someone's future by the way they speak today. If their words are built on vision, discipline, and ownership, then it's only a matter of time before their life follows. But if their speech is full of delay, emotion, and blame, their life will stay stuck. So ask yourself, are your words moving you forward or keeping you in place? This mindset is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. If you mess up, say so. If you're off track, admit it. But then say, I'm getting back on. Then do it. Own your minutes. Talk like every hour means something, because it does. Once it's gone, it doesn't come back. Every second you spend doubting, stalling, scrolling, or complaining, it adds up. And the total cost is a future you could have had, but never built. people will try to pull you into their pace. They'll waste time and want you to waste yours too. Don't let them. Be direct. Be honest. Speak with urgency. Tell them, I'm working. Tell them, this matters to me. Tell them, I've got things to get done. And say it like you mean it, because you should. You don't owe anyone your time. You owe it to yourself to use it well. You owe it to the younger version of you who hoped for more. You owe it to the future version of you who needs you to show up now. When you speak with that kind of responsibility, your entire attitude changes. You stop looking for ways to escape and start looking for ways to advance. It's easy to sound committed when life is calm, but the real test is how you speak when things get hard. Do you start making excuses again? Do you soften your tone to avoid pressure? Or do you hold the line and say, I'm not quitting today? That's the voice that builds something real. That's the voice you practice every day until it becomes automatic. Even when nobody's watching, speak like your time matters. When you're working alone, talk to yourself with strength. Don't wait for applause. Don't wait for motivation. Just stay clear with yourself. Tell yourself what needs to be done. Remind yourself why it matters. Speak like someone who's not wasting another day. When your friends ask what you're up to, speak with direction. Don't downplay your goals. Don't water down your discipline. Say, I'm working on something important. Say, I'm building habits that matter. Say it even if they don't get it. Your words are a reflection of your identity, not their approval. This is how serious people talk. They don't waste energy pretending. They don't dramatize their lives. They get clear, they get honest, and they make every word point them in the direction they want to go. That's what it means to talk like someone who is done wasting time. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do need to stop making peace with delay. You do need to start recognizing how powerful your words are. And you do need to decide that today, not tomorrow, is the day you talk differently, act differently, and live differently. So when you wake up, when you walk into your day, when you face distraction or frustration, speak like someone who's focused. Speak like someone with limited time and unlimited discipline. Speak like every day is one step closer to the life you know you can build. Because the truth is simple. The person who talks like they're serious eventually becomes serious. And the person who becomes serious about their time becomes serious about their life. Talk like that and keep talking like that until your reality matches your words. Number 7. Speak the words you needed 10 years ago. Think about that for a second. Go back in your mind to who you were back then. What were you going through? What were you afraid of? What did you wish someone would tell you not to comfort you, but to wake you up? That version of you is still inside you. That version is still waiting to hear something real, something honest, something strong enough to pull you forward. That's your job now. You don't need someone else to say it. You need to say it to yourself. Too many people wait for permission to heal, to move on, to believe in themselves. But the permission you were waiting for years ago, you can give it to yourself right now. You can say the things you were starving to hear. You can speak to yourself like someone who finally understands the weight of silence and the cost of not being told the truth. It's not about trying to change the past. It's about not repeating it. It's about not staying stuck in a version of yourself that no longer serves who you want to be. Maybe 10 years ago, you needed someone to say you're not broken. Maybe you needed someone to say, stop pleasing everyone. Maybe you needed someone to look you in the eye and say, get up, you're capable of more than this. Whatever you needed then, say it now, out loud, because your mind still remembers what it never received. And giving it now sets you free. You don't need perfect words, you need real ones. Speak them like you mean them. Speak them until they land. Speak them until the shame fades. Speak them until you feel something shift inside. That's how you begin to reclaim the parts of yourself you lost along the way. Not by pretending everything was fine, but by finally facing it with clarity and strength. There's power in looking back, not to feel sorry, but to rise higher. You don't grow by avoiding who you used to be. You grow by looking at it directly and choosing to speak differently now. The words you say today are not just for today. They echo back into the old pain. They interrupt the patterns. They start a new story. You might be tempted to stay quiet. You might think, it's too late. But it's not. Not even close. The voice you use today becomes the identity you live with tomorrow. That's why it matters what you say to yourself. That's why it matters what kind of language lives in your mind. You either heal the past or keep repeating it. And the difference starts with what you say when no one's listening. Say what you never got to hear. Say, you're allowed to change. Say, you didn't deserve what happened, but you're responsible for what happens next. Say, you don't need to be perfect to be respected. Say, you matter, even when you feel invisible. Say it like it's urgent, because it is. If you don't speak it, the silence wins. If you don't say it, the weight stays on your chest. And don't just speak to the past. Speak to the younger you like they still exist, because they do. You carry them into every decision. You carry their fears, their doubts, their shame, but you also carry their hope. You carry their hunger. and you carry the chance to finally give them what they were waiting for. Truth spoken without fear, encouragement given without conditions, strength delivered through words that don't pretend anymore. You can't move forward while hating who you used to be. That person was doing the best they could with what they had. That person didn't have what you know now. That person wasn't weak, they were waiting. So give them what they needed. Give them belief, give them direction, give them discipline, give them the raw, honest push they didn't get. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, that version of me wasn't a failure. Speak with gratitude, even for the hard chapters. Speak with confidence, even if you didn't have it back then. And speak with intention, because now you understand how dangerous it is to go years without hearing the truth. You don't have to be loud, you don't have to scream, but you do have to mean it. Every time you feel stuck, ask yourself, what did I need to hear back then? Then say it, and let it guide what you do next. The answers are already inside of you, you've just been silent for too long. From now on, use your voice as your weapon. Use it to cut through the lies you've repeated to yourself for years. Use it to build a mindset that protects your future. Use it to become the person your younger self hoped you'd become. Every day, remind yourself that you are not your mistakes. You are your response to them. You are not your regrets. You are the result of your choices moving forward. Speak with clarity. Say, I'm not hiding anymore. Say, I've outgrown my excuses. Say, I forgive myself, but I'm done going in circles. That's what strength sounds like. That's what healing sounds like. Not pretending everything's fine, but deciding that nothing stays broken if you refuse to leave it that way. If you practice speaking to yourself like this, things begin to change. Your attitude shifts. Your self-respect grows. You stop begging others to tell you what you needed to hear, because now you've learned how to say it yourself. You've taken back control of your voice, and with it, your identity. You don't need to go another year silent. You don't need to wait for someone else to say what your soul's been waiting for. Say it now. Say it with full awareness of who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming. Speak the words you needed 10 years ago, and then live like they're true. Number 8. Shout that you're done living scared and small. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you're finally done pretending that fear is keeping you safe. Say it because you're tired of shrinking who you are just to feel comfortable. You know deep down that something in you has been held back for far too long. You've let fear control your decisions. You've let hesitation stop your progress. You've lived quiet when you should have spoken up. You've played small in rooms where you were meant to lead, but now it's time to break out of that. Not tomorrow, now. You weren't born to play it safe your entire life. You weren't made to watch from the sidelines. There is more in you, and you know it. You've felt it in moments when you were honest with yourself. You've seen it in glimpses when you tried. But every time fear got loud, you stepped back. Every time you started gaining momentum, you questioned yourself. And every time life gave you a chance, you hesitated. That's not who you want to be. That's not who you were meant to be. Living small doesn't protect you, it robs you. It steals time, it steals opportunities. It keeps your potential locked away, collecting dust. And fear feeds on that silence. The more you avoid facing it, the stronger it becomes. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't leave on its own. You have to decide you're done letting it lead your life. You have to say it out loud with full belief. I'm done living scared and small. When you say that, you draw a line. You tell yourself that you're no longer settling for safety over progress. You make it clear that discomfort doesn't scare you more than regret, because regret is what you get when you stay silent. Regret is what shows up when you realize you never went after the things you wanted because fear was louder than your desire. You don't need to be fearless. That's not real. But you do need to be braver than your fear. You need to decide that fear can talk, but it doesn't get to vote. It doesn't get to decide how you live your life. The fear will always be there, but you can get louder. You can act anyway. You can move forward with shaking hands, with an anxious mind, with a pounding heart, and still do what matters. That's how you take your power back. No one else can do this for you. No one can give you enough motivation to replace a decision you haven't made yet. This isn't about a speech or a moment of hype. This is about finally getting fed up with your own limitations. It's about being real with yourself. You've been holding back. You've been afraid to try fully. You've been worried about how you'll look if you fail. But none of that matters now. What matters is what happens next. You've got to raise your standards, not just in how you live, but in how you think, how you speak, how you move through the world. From this point forward, you need to act like someone who refuses to stay small. Walk like your future depends on it. Speak like your life has weight. Choose like your decisions have meaning, because they do. And you've wasted enough time pretending they don't. Shout it. Say it until it hits your core. Say it in a way that your body hears it. Say it to interrupt every old belief that kept you quiet, uncertain, or disconnected from your own power. Say, I'm done being scared. Say, I'm done acting like I don't matter. Say, "I'm finished making fear feel at home." Then take action that matches those words. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You don't owe the world an explanation for why you're changing. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need to wait for approval before you rise. This is about you and the life you know you're capable of living. If you stop hiding behind fear, fear will dress itself up as logic. It'll tell you it's not the right time. It'll remind you of everything that could go wrong. It'll convince you to stay right where you are, stuck, quiet, tired, and playing safe. But what if you stop listening? What if you answer back with boldness? What if you wake up and tell fear, you don't run the show anymore? That's how change starts. That's how confidence is built. Not by waiting to feel ready, but by deciding to act even when you're unsure. The life you want doesn't live inside your comfort zone. It doesn't come wrapped in easy decisions or low-risk plans. It comes when you do the things you've avoided. It comes when you stop negotiating with fear and start confronting it. It comes when you take full ownership of your future. Speak with conviction. Even if your voice shakes, make it clear. You are not here to live invisible. You are not here to settle for average. You are not here to repeat the same day for the next 30 years. You are here to stretch, to grow, to build, to lead. And that journey begins with one decision: to stop living scared and small. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room, but you do need to believe that your voice matters. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you do need to take the next step with full effort. You don't need to be fearless, but you must be done letting fear win. Today is the day you stop backing down. Today is the day you stop letting fear silence your progress. Today is the day you speak differently. You move differently. You think differently. Because you're done living scared. You're done playing small. You're done watching your own life from a distance like it belongs to someone else. It's yours. Shout it. Not for the world to hear, but for you to believe. Shout it to break the old cycle. Shout it to signal that this chapter is over. Shout it so loud that your own fear gets quiet. I'm done living scared and small. Then go live like you finally believe it. Number 9. Command yourself to stop running from hard things. Stop escaping. Stop delaying. Stop telling yourself it's not the right time. The more you run, the heavier the weight becomes. And you know it. Every time you avoid the challenge in front of you, it doesn't disappear, it waits. It follows you, it grows in the background. And over time you start believing you can't face it, that you're not built for it. But that's a lie. You're not broken, you're just out of practice. You've built the habit of avoiding discomfort, and now it's time to break that pattern. No one wants to struggle, but struggle isn't your enemy. Avoiding it is. Growth lives on the other side of hard things. Every skill, every mindset, every result you want is earned through what's difficult. But if you keep turning away every time things get heavy, you rob yourself of that process. You miss the very thing that makes you stronger. The truth is, nobody grows when everything's easy. You grow when you stay in the fire and figure it out anyway. You've probably trained your brain to take the easy exit. You get stressed and you scroll. You feel pressure and you distract yourself. You get uncomfortable and you make excuses. But what if you started doing the opposite? What if the moment something felt hard, you leaned into it? What if your new instinct became to face it, not flee? That mindset would change everything. This isn't about pushing for no reason. This is about stepping into the things that matter but scare you. That conversation you've been avoiding, that responsibility you've been neglecting, that goal you've been half working on for years. These things won't fix themselves. You have to face them directly. You have to say to yourself, no more hiding. You have to train yourself to meet resistance with effort instead of escape. Nobody else can make you do this. You have to command yourself. You have to talk to yourself with authority. You have to interrupt the part of your brain that wants comfort and give a new order. I'm not running from this. That command must come from a place of purpose. Because if you don't speak with conviction, your old habits will speak louder. Every time you choose to face something hard instead of running, you create momentum. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. You stop fearing the pain because you've been through it. You stop doubting your strength because now you've tested it. It's not about being perfect. It's about building the muscle of showing up again and again, especially when it's hard. And make no mistake, it will be hard. That's the point. Facing what you've avoided won't feel good at first. You'll feel fear, you'll feel resistance, but those feelings are temporary. What's permanent is the discipline you build when you keep going anyway. And the person you become from that effort will be someone who no longer needs to run. Running creates a pattern you can't escape from. The more you do it, the easier it becomes to justify. But deep down, you know the truth. You know when you're playing small. You know when you're avoiding something. And that knowing eats at you. It keeps you restless. It keeps you stuck. So stop trying to escape what's meant to build you. Stop explaining your way out of responsibility. Stop choosing distraction over direction. Hard things reveal who you really are. They show you your limits, your insecurities, your weaknesses, but they also show you your grit, your potential, your resilience. But you can't experience any of that if you run. You only get stronger by stepping up. So command yourself, not with emotion, but with decision. Be the kind of person who does hard things, not because they enjoy them, but because they refuse to run anymore. You have to set a new standard. One where the default isn't escape, but action. One where the question isn't, how can I get out of this, but how can I get better from this? That's the mindset that separates people who improve from people who complain. And it all starts with a command, a clear internal decision. I don't run anymore. You're not too weak. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. You just need to get honest. You've been avoiding some things that matter. That's not failure. That's habit. But habits can change. And they change the moment you stop letting comfort speak louder than commitment. Nobody's going to fix your life for you. And that's not a bad thing. It's a gift. It means you're in control. It means you get to decide who you become. And you become stronger by doing the things your old self kept skipping. That starts now. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Command yourself to face the tough conversations. Command yourself to finish what you started. Command yourself to stay longer in the gym, to sit longer with your thoughts, to push harder on your goals, even when it feels like it's not working. The work is working, even when it's invisible. The pressure is building strength, even when you can't see it. You just have to stay in it long enough to get the reward. This is not about pretending to be fearless. This is about being tired of living with regret. It's about being done with the shame of knowing you could have done more, but chose to wait. It's about choosing courage over convenience. And it's about making that choice every single day, even when it's hard. Start now, not with a speech, not with a plan, but with a command. Tell yourself directly, I'm done running. Say it every time your instinct is to quit. Say it every time the hard thing comes up. Say it until it becomes who you are. Then back it up with action. This is your time. No one's going to push you harder than you push yourself. No one's going to live your life for you. So stop backing down. Stop making fear your decision maker. Stop hiding from the very things that would shape you. And command yourself loudly, clearly, repeatedly to stop running. Then do the work that proves you meant it. Number 10, say you're not average and prove it daily. Don't just whisper it in your head. Say it out loud with conviction. Say it when you wake up. Say it before you start your day. Say it when things get hard. Because if you don't declare it, you'll start believing the lie that you're just like everyone else. And once you accept average, you start living like it. You start making choices that match comfort instead of courage. You start following the crowd instead of creating your own path. And that's when your life begins to shrink into something you never intended. You're not average. You weren't built for mediocrity. You weren't made to blend in, to settle, to repeat the same day for decades. Deep down, you know this. That's why you feel restless. That's why part of you stays unsatisfied, even when things look fine on the outside. Because average will never fulfill someone who's meant for more. And being meant for more doesn't mean you're entitled to it. It means you're responsible for it. You have to earn it. You have to prove it, not with one big moment, but with consistent decisions that align with your potential. It starts with how you think. The average mindset waits for motivation. It wants things to feel easy before taking action. But if you're serious about not being average, you act when it's hard. You show up when it's inconvenient. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You create momentum in the middle of the mess. You tell yourself, I do the work even when no one sees it. And then you follow through. Every day you're either building that mindset or breaking it. The choices seem small, but they stack up fast. Do you hit snooze or do you get up and lead your life? Do you make excuses or do you take ownership? Do you talk about growth or do you live it? The difference isn't always visible right away, but it becomes clear over time. The person who proves they're not average builds habits that don't depend on emotions. They operate from standards, not moods. And that's what separates the ones who rise from the ones who stay stuck. Average people talk about what they want. Above average people work like it's non-negotiable. Average people blame circumstances. Above average people own every result. Average people seek approval. Above average people chase truth. You've got to choose which group you're going to belong to. Not once, but every single day. Telling yourself you're not average is more than a confidence trick. It's a standard-setting moment. It means you stop accepting low effort from yourself. It means you quit things that waste your time. It means you start speaking with more clarity, acting with more discipline, thinking with more focus. And if you're going to say it, then you'd better back it up. Because words without action won't carry weight for long. If you say you're not average, then your behavior has to prove it. Your mindset has to reflect it. Your results must eventually confirm it. That doesn't mean you'll be perfect. It doesn't mean you'll win every day. But even on the rough days, you still choose to honor your standard. You still say, today won't be my best, but it won't be my worst. You don't spiral when things go wrong. You recalibrate. You adapt. You keep going. That's how you prove it. This is not about ego. This is not about thinking you're better than other people. It's about refusing to waste the potential you were given. It's about recognizing that the average path is already crowded, that there's already enough people choosing distraction, choosing comfort, choosing shortcuts. You don't have to hate them, but you don't have to join them either. You break average by being intentional. You protect your mornings. You plan your priorities. You spend your time on things that matter. You speak to yourself like someone who's serious. You walk into rooms with purpose. You show up prepared. You do the hard thing, even when the easy one looks tempting. You don't complain about things you allow, and you don't let failure define your next move. If you live long enough in an average routine, it becomes your identity. You start believing that's all you're capable of. That's why it's so important to challenge yourself. You don't break average by thinking about it. You break it by doing what average people avoid, like staying disciplined when you're tired, like being honest with yourself about your excuses, like making decisions that prioritize growth instead of feelings. You will face days when the old version of you wants to take over again. You'll hear the voice that says, just take it easy, or skip it today, or it doesn't matter. That's the moment you speak up. You say, no, that's not me anymore. You say, I don't live like that now. You say, I said I'm not average and I'm going to prove it again today. Every action becomes proof. Every decision is a vote. You're either voting for the person you were or for the one you're becoming, and the person you're becoming shows up. They speak differently. They carry themselves with responsibility. They make progress even when it's slow. They don't need constant praise to stay on track. They don't live for attention. They live for alignment. Alignment with their own standards, their own goals, their own purpose. You don't need more time. You don't need more chances. You need more clarity. And once you have that, everything starts to shift. You become someone who moves with purpose. You stop wasting time explaining your goals to people who don't get it. You stop waiting for support from people who aren't willing to support themselves. You go all in because you know what's at stake if you don't. And here's the real truth. Not everyone will understand. Some people will get uncomfortable when you raise your standards. Some people will try to pull you back. That's fine. Let them stay where they are. You've got something to prove, not to them, but to yourself. You've got potential to protect. You've got time to use wisely. You've got one life, and average is not how you're going to spend it. So say it again, not with arrogance, but with fire. I'm not average. Say it when you're tired. Say it when you're doubting. Say it when you're tempted to settle, and then show up and live like it. Because saying it is a start, but proving it daily is what builds the life you know you're meant to live. If you stick with this for 21 days, you'll notice the shift, not just in how you think, but in how you act, how you carry yourself, and how you handle life. You'll feel more focused, more grounded, and more in control. Talk to yourself like someone who's serious, someone who's growing, someone who's done with weakness, because the words you speak shape the life you build. Don't wait for change. Speak it, live it, prove it. Start today, and don't stop. You're not average. You're not stuck. You're just one strong decision away from a better version of you.